I don't listen to I listen to everyone's personal stories. So every person on there, I don't listen to Autumn. I don't listen to Sean T. I don't listen to Carl, for the sake of the fact that I just don't feel like I need the pep talk. I want to hear stories. Like I want to hear. Like I don't need to know how Autumn did her workouts. You know what I mean, or who is it geared towards? I pretty much know that stuff. You know what I mean. Mm-hmm. But as far as like knowing how did somebody, make it in 2 years, 3 years, 1 year, 6 months, like what do they do? What are they doing on Facebook? What are they doing, for advertising? How are they wording things? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And almost every one of those calls, if you listen to them, they give you like these 1 or 2 or 3 comments that are just like, these are my go-tos,
Yeah.
And I really think that's huge. So whatever, I think the answers are all out there for the topic we're about to talk on tonight. I mean, I think the answers are out there, but you really got to follow them. Everybody that, and I was talking to Jen about this today too, everyone that really used to aggravate me on watching Facebook feeds, I don't see it as much anymore. Maybe it's because the way that Facebook is geared now, I don't think that feed thing is really, I don't even know how it works, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. But I know I don't get as irritated with some people's postings anymore. But I do know that when I went back last year and I got the whole summit. What was it in Vegas, Jen, last year?
Summit. Vegas.
Yeah, so I went back and I got the Beachbody, broadcast of all their talks at Summit. Like, mm-hmm. I don't know if there was 20 of them or whatever. And I literally listened to every one of them. They were hour and a half, some of them, you know what I mean? And I sat down and listened to every one of them. And there was so much good information in there that basically was saying that they're trying not to make it sound salesy. Like there's just too many people out there that are flooding all that stuff anyway. So the best way to approach it is to be you, and that's why everyone actually supposedly is joining, is to get themselves on track, or to do something that, for themselves first. Mm-hmm. And then everyone kind of everything will fall in line after that. You know what I mean? Like it's very much more like the more answers you look for, or the more like outline you look for, I think the more you start running yourself in circles. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You find that, Jen?
Yeah, I think
like the more you think like, what am I doing wrong? And then you go and look at something, you say, oh, I'll do this today. And then you end up doing like something totally opposite of what you're thinking. Like your brain is your most powerful tool, and who you are is your most powerful tool. And that's, I mean, if you're a great people person, which I'm pretty sure you have to be in this business, you know what I mean? Like, I think you don't have to have the education of a trainer. You don't have to know what a nutritionist knows, but you need to know people. You need to know how to talk to people and not piss people off and not be sensitive. You have to be almost oversensitive. If someone shoots a comment at you, you got to know how to rebuttal that without taking offense and stuff like that. And don't take things personally, obviously. When people get mad at, something you say or you do, you got to be able to move on,
Right.
He's saying, Michael. So tonight's topic, we had a couple people join. So basically what we're going to talk about, or I'm hoping that Mike can shed some light on, is, Mike does not sell. He basically, he has his own gym, he has his own fitness business, but Candace was able to talk him into joining this a few months after I did.
You didn't talk me into it. It was you and Ariel.
So what he does like is the nutrition of the Shakeology and looking at it from a business standpoint where, he does have people that come into him for fitness and, obviously they can't get to his gym every single day. So he can offer some of these fitness workouts for supplemental if he wants to. But it's more so the Shakeology for him. He is really, really, really likes the nutrition aspect of what this shake offers. And I think if you really take a look at all the Beachbody programs and what they offer, we really need to concentrate on Shakeology, because you can't, even if you train, I mean, we say this all the time, even if you work out every single day, you really can't live a healthy lifestyle without, feeding your body the right way. So I do think that they go about this the right way with pricing, because it is an expensive product, but they also do these challenge packs where they say, here you go, you can get this shake and you can get this workout for, maybe a couple bucks more, 20 to 30 to $40 more. And you've got the whole package right there in your hands. So I think, instead of pitching workouts all the time, you really should be, gearing your everyday posts around health information. People say this all the time when you're in your trainings, when you're doing trainings, when you watch the really, really good coaches out there, they will always tell you to plan your posts around content. So you have to be putting out really good content. Make a nice schedule for yourself at the beginning of the stop doing that. Make a nice schedule at the beginning of the week of, what kind of health information you can drum up. Do some searching or whatever it is of new stuff that maybe you haven't heard of that you can tell people about that you didn't know about. Even if it's stupid little things like even Dawn put out there today that, berries aren't really called berries. They're, watermelon are berries and this is that. And it's just little things like that people will grab people's attention. And it shows people that you are looking at your health. You are consistently, researching things on health trends and things like that, water posts and just stuff like that. I mean, I don't barely ever post anything about the products. If I do, it's my own. It's, my stuff. It's what I did today for my workout. It's what I'm drinking today for my Shakeology recipe or something like that. I don't usually post a product sale or anything like that. And I think when we start talking to people about the product itself, you have to know how to tell people why you're drinking it. Why do you think it's the best on the best product on the market? And Mike is really knowledgeable about that because he has been doing it for so long, and he has nutritionists on his, payroll, and he has always researched all this stuff. So I've learned a lot from just talking to Mike as to why Shakeology works the way it does. And I thought maybe he could touch upon that for you guys. And that way, when you're talking to people, you can actually tell people why you drink it. So when you talk to me about, what kind of protein you should be drinking, Mike, and stuff like that, like what you should be looking for on the ingredients list, things like that. Those are things normal people wouldn't know when you get into the coaching business. So that kind of stuff I was thinking about.
Yeah, well, does everyone know that answer? I mean, the number one ingredient that's in Shakeology is tell me what I'm thinking.
Whey protein.
Yeah, but what kind? Isolate. Sorry. As I'm drinking casein protein right now, that's why it's before my bedtime and I'm drinking a different kind of protein. But so the isolate is the most important thing. When you go look at the ingredients, if you see like a concentrate or an isolate and concentrate or a blend or whatever it is, then right off the bat, you know that it's just not the top quality of whey. And again, so I don't know. I originally I thought this was to how to become not salesy. I thought, Jen. So if you want ingredients or why or what or not, maybe it's best to answer questions because that could go on forever. But as far as that all ties in though. It all ties into how I approach speaking to people about Shakeology. My first thing is, especially when I meet with a client, is like, let's talk about your diet. Let's gear towards that. So when you're putting, just like you said, so if you're going to go about this on a Facebook and not face-to-face, because I do a ton of face-to-face and no Facebook. So when I'm talking to someone face-to-face, it's very easy to get into them, you know what I mean? And this is something I've tried to pitch to Ariel. I don't know how much you guys are doing this or how much you push this, Jen, but I hear it on the calls all the time. And I heard Anita Miron say it the other night. I don't know if you listened to that call or whatever she was doing with, that's amazing. Like they all are pitching things where you need to get in front of a client. Enough of the texting, enough of the Facebook. And obviously that's a portal. That's something you need to use. But you need to get in front of people more because that's where the value's at. I mean, they'll hide. Everyone can hide behind screens and hide behind, technology as much as you want, and talk to other people as soon as you get done typing. But the bottom line is they need to feel it and hear it, and you can only do so much visual, like you said, Jen, visual posts, content. Yes, that opens the door most of the time, but you've got to start doing, like I was just telling Ariel, we really, I'm very close to going down the street to a dance studio and seeing if I can get a Saturday, fit club or something like that. You know what I mean? Where I just do it once a month and just start there, do something. Because those are the things that I know are going to take everything to the next level. Backing it off again, just because that's something I think that's advanced, but I just say that that's where you want to go. You want to eventually stay, if you want to set up the group, you know what I mean? Like, so you want to set up people with your content to get involved, to start conversating about what you're talking about, and then invite them to a group. Is that what you do, Jen? Anybody? So like right now, I mean, do you have anything that's just like a clean eating group, not like a T25 or not like a 3-day refresh?
Yeah, I did. I had the arms and abs one that I did for a couple
just a free group, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just something that you don't need to purchase a package for. And then you get your practice in on how to keep people involved, they'll ask friends. That's what I'm saying. Like, once you get 10 or 15 people in there and then they start inviting friends, I mean, our free group is up to 120 people right now. So, I mean, if we get 4 or 5 of those to sign up in a year, that's great. I don't really count the numbers, but the point being is that the more they invite and the more people get involved, the more it pushes down. And then from there, you do your 21-day fixed group or your 3-day group and stuff like that. But again, that's all Facebook. You know what I mean? But again, they're gonna go to your content, and your content has to be honesty and who you are. I mean, if you're posting about this is so stupid, but if you're posting about health and diet, and all of a sudden there's a post of you at a bar, you know what I mean? It doesn't really match, And I know that's life, and I know, I'm just trying to show them who I am. It's not on your page, wherever you do it. Like, if it's your like page, then you keep everything simple, you know what I mean? If it's your personal page that you're driving your business towards, then you better be kind of consistent with everything. And I think there's a ton of, if you guys know this, there's a ton of newsletters and things you can sign up to. So if you go like Shape Magazine or whatever, like Muscle and Fitness for Her, or whoever you want to do, and just sign up to newsletters, you'll get content that will be that article, Jen, you were talking about. Like something, like I just posted one the other day on my thing about like how many repetitions to do in a set. You know what I mean? Like stupid things like that, because it's our fitness. But there's a ton of, diet stuff, like topics about what best fruit, bananas, whatever it is, so that you can just get the same people liking your things or really getting intrigued into your information. I don't know. Is that enough to start us off? I mean, because then you can get into, well, how do I word it? You know what I mean? Like, what am I hitting on? And that, I think the YouTube video, I didn't send that to you, Jen. I can send it to you if you want to post it on Zen. I don't know how that works, but the one that's like why Shakeology. So that's the other thing too. So I have about 4 links to the YouTube videos that Beachbody has. I think one of them's Carl talking, one of them's the why Shakeology, and the other one does like all the programs. It's like that 9-minute. I think they just redid that one, Jen, like last year.
Yeah.
Intro to Shakeology, or Intro to Beachbody. So I have those 3 that if I have someone that's potentially looking, again, that's 2 different types of person you're talking to. Is it the person that is interested in coaching, or is it just you're trying to get Shakeology customers? You know what I mean? Like those are 2 different things. So you really got to know who you're talking to. If you're just talking initially getting involved with Shakeology, then I always go to diet first. I don't even ask them what they do for workouts. The challenge pack is perfect for that specific reason, because you can say, well, listen, this is what I would do. And at this point in time right now, you're basically going to get this workout for free. I don't say you're getting this and you get Shakeology for half or whatever. Like it is. It's always Shakeology is this. The workout is free, or the workout is only $20. Get it, because you're going to get double the result. You know what I mean? And that's, how I'll work that kind of into the deal. That's how Davato started. I mean, that's how Chris started with, he did a 3-day refresh into T25 with Shakeology, and now he's a coach. So I mean, it kind of flows, but you got to make sure that people understand that you're in it for the nutritional health side of it. You know, that's literally. I mean, it's easy for me because it's my profession. So I literally throw that right in people's faces. You know, I am who I am because, and I only research things that, you know, would be best in health and all that stuff. And so I can kind of throw that right in there. I take it. That's another thing you need to throw in there. Like, it's something that I believe in enough to spend the $100 a month, you know, and again, who you're talking to will say that $140 a month you're spending if you're talking to a regular Shakeology person. So you don't get them overwhelmed. And you just say, hey, listen, I've invested in my health for that per day charge and that monthly charge. And I've been doing it 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, whatever the heck it is, you know? With no forum and no kind of ideas, I just threw a bunch of stuff at you guys. So I don't know if you want to pick a spot or break it down or ask questions.
Erica, what did you, what specifically do you have for a question for, like, offensive? Like, what did you mean by offending people? Like,
you can use a very specific situation too. I don't care. You don't have to.
I mean, I don't really have like a specific situation. How do you sort of approach someone without sort of
Being in the face.
thinking like, hey, I think you're fat and you need to like try the nutrition. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
How do you sort of just kind of break that into, you know what, I've been doing this for a while. Like, how do you, you know, like, what are you doing? What are your nutritional things? Like, how do you sort of not cross over that line to like kind of offend someone?
So the non-invasive way to do all this stuff is to basically have them ask you, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the original question has to come to you. If you go out there searching for someone, you are going to be offensive and pushy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
Yeah.
if you're posting and people are asking questions, or you're saying, hey, inbox me for more information, and they ask you, what could you tell me, or what is this all about?
Yeah.
You're a 30-second commercial right there. I mean, you're basically taking everything that you. Again, we're talking either text or in person. Do you have a specific idea?
Most is kind of like text for now, or like
Okay.
Facebook even.
Yeah, text. Well, text is hard because you know that. I mean, everyone takes words the wrong way.
Right.
Okay, so I always backdoor that with that exact word. A lot of people take words the wrong way. So forgive me if I come across in any which way offensive. I don't mean to, but without knowing how to explain, not knowing each other, you know what I'm saying? You really got to almost. That's what makes you real. You know, it doesn't make you a reporter. It doesn't make you just typing print, and it doesn't make you offensive to someone because you broke that wall down.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing I always start with is that, and then I keep it short and sweet, because the longer you go in your original intro, the more they could either, one, get aggravated, or two, turn you out. You know what I mean? So
Right.
short and sweet to let them ask that next question, and they'll say, most person, if they're normal, will say, not at all. I totally want this information. Give it to me real, or whatever it is. You know what I mean? And you could just go right from there. That's your door open. And once you open the door, you can break that down and just kind of say to them, listen, what is it that you are struggling with? Is it, you know, eating portion control? Is it eating a normal diet? Are you totally off the rocker? I mean, all that kind of stuff will play into what are you looking for from this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can either, one, place them onto the Shakeology commercial, which is, well, I have the Shakeology product is by far the best product out there, and you can tell them why. I mean, my why is always, I've researched all three, in which you should or shouldn't research the top three, and you know Shakeology is in the top three, and you can tell them, listen, it's splitting hairs, but when it comes to that kind of investment and it comes to my health, I like to know I have the best, and you can give them the reasons why. Okay, I always go to the all natural. I always go to the you know, the amount of ingredient in it, you know, that can actually rid you of, you know, a multivitamin, a probiotic, and the sheer fact that it will have things that fight down disease, where most of those other shakes are just performance enhancers. You know what I mean? Like, so they may help you lose weight and curb cravings, or they may be great for recovery when it comes to sports and athletics, which Advocare and Isogenics are really good for athletic, right? Herbalife, not the cleanest and best product out there, you know. And those are the things like you really want to kind of verge on. And I also know that I think we're one of the only ones that actually sell a vegan. I don't know if Isogenics has a vegan, and I don't think Advocare has a vegan. Just I haven't really researched that. But those are the things that I would go to after the door is open. The original breakdown is always, for me, is always putting myself out there.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I always put myself vulnerable and just say, listen, I don't want to offend anybody, blah, blah, blah. I mean, Jen, you've seen my posts out there sometimes, even with the suicide prevention. I've done this a lot where it's like, don't take this personal, or I don't know how you want me to go about this, but this is what I have. And you kind of just break that door down backwards. You know, does that make any sense? Does that help you with what you were asking?
Yeah.
There's really no script, right? I mean,
right.
The person has to come out. Like, you have got to be you. You've got to really know how to manipulate when someone gets offended. You know, like if originally they just say, you know, something really right at them and just say, well, I'm not looking, I'm just shopping. And you say, well, what have you looked at? You know, simple question, right? That could keep the conversation going. And it's basically like, well, I'm looking at these two other things and you guys are really expensive. And you can admit to that. You can say, definitely not the cheapest. I tell people that all the time. You know, when people ask me about personal training even, I say, well, I'm not the cheapest, I'm not the most expensive. You know what I mean? And it's really about personality. Do you want this, or do you want that kind of, you know, personality that's going to help you? And just absolutely lost. So Jen actually said the part way before, I don't know if you're on the call yet, but content and all that other stuff we were talking about is specific to value. Okay. And I'll never forget hearing that term, because I say it to my trainers. I say it to my manager. I say it to Ariel, and I say it to everybody. If you don't provide value or add value, then you're just like everyone else. Every person out there can go out there and purchase this on Amazon, or they have 1,000,001 friends that know it. Okay. And they'll easily go to them, but you've got to figure out a way to be better than the next person, you know? And in that way, I don't mean better salesman or better, you know, at drawing up pictures and creating, you know, art, but you need to really get into that person's head. Because if this person is worried about health, then you need to start posting a lot of articles about health, right? Yeah. And this isn't to scare them. It's to educate them. So don't be posting all this scary stuff about we're all going to die someday. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff, you know, like we're going to all have cancer in the year 20 if we don't do something. I mean, that's a little aggressive, but a lot of stuff about, like, you know, health and nutrition and just moving forward and going forward, and you'll figure that out. Like, I don't know, if someone's diabetic that, you know, is trying to work on getting off meds or something like that, then you can start posting. Just heard this back. You know, I used a lot of my old, like, the team's stories, like I was just saying. So you can use, say, a Monday morning quarterback, what do you call it? Monday morning wake up call. You could use one of those stories and say that's one of your friends' clients. You know what I'm saying? You could say, hey, one of my coach's clients just came off of meds, and it's not, you have no idea if they are, but it's a fact. You know what I mean? It's a fact that person did. I use Jen all the time with her coming, you know, breaking down her med. You know what I mean? And that's my sister. So it even holds more water because I say my sister, who's a coach. Right. So you've got to find a couple of go-tos that will help you with that. Like, and I found a lot of my stuff by listening to those calls, or, you know, and I listen to them all recorded. I don't listen to them on time. Sometimes it'll be like Friday, you know, drive home or whatever, and I'm listening to a call. I do try to listen to them on Monday, so it might be the Monday following, because Monday I just think it's a great time to kind of get your juices flowing and really get focused for the week. Help? No help?
Help.
Question from a question?
I'm good for now, I think.
Okay.
I don't want to get, like, too much up here.
Yeah, like I said, it's not an easy topic, because, like I said to Jen, you could have a 3-hour, 6-hour seminar about this. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't something that is, you know, one question answered and quick move forward. But a lot of times when you hear someone talk, whether it's me, whether it's the next person, you're gonna pick like a sentence or a paragraph that I may have said and be like, oh, I'm gonna try this, or this makes a lot of sense to me. And I did that. I repeated it a lot with a lot of those people. And the best way to do that is listen to those calls. Are you listening to them? The Beachbody podcast?
And I have to go and find them. I haven't really listened to a whole lot of them. for any of them. I'm not gonna
I
lie.
said to Rachel, the biggest eye opener for me was when I started listening to him. It was right around this time last year because it was after the summit of last year, and when I kind of was like, oh, these are pretty good. And then I got into, I started seeing the summits pop up. So they actually had the what do you call them, Jen? The breakout sessions recorded for summit from Vegas. And I listened to every one of them. I mean, literally couldn't get enough of them. I listened to a couple of them twice and they were like an hour to an hour and a half long. That set me realizing that I need to listen to these on a regular basis. And I got mine pulled open right now. And I could tell you, I don't, Laurie Stewart, Stephanie Davies, Christina Delgado, Kerry Legault were all the most recent ones. And every one of them, I remember everything they were saying. You know what I mean? Because they were all, I mean, the topics were being successful, learning from your mistakes. I mean, getting out of your comfort zone. Those are all things like how to create consistent success, how to create coaches. Like those are things that like, you know, we ask these questions all the time and they get right to the point, and hearing it from someone other than Jen or myself usually kind of resonates a little bit because we're so in contact with you. So hearing it from someone that's living in Las Vegas or, you know, California or Florida, you know, it resonates because it's like, well, everyone's having the same thing. You know what I mean? Like we're all
done this a lot longer and has probably gone through all of these ups and downs and figured out what works and what doesn't work.
Absolutely. Yes. That's the one thing, Christina, I don't know if you hear Delgado's, but she was big on that. I mean, I think she actually she wasn't a coach for a while too. I think one of them was that, where they got out of it for a bit and they came back to it.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay. Mike, I live in a military town. We get a lot of military men and women here. As far as the Shakeology, I don't know. Do you recommend it as a meal replacement or as a
That's a great question. That's a great question. See, so I don't use it as a meal replacement. Okay. I really don't, as a nutrition person and a health person, I don't like to preach it as a health. And that's what's so bad about it, because I know that's how they do it with a big weight loss and curbs cravings right on the box and right on the package. That drives me bananas, because I look at it as a nutritional supplement. All right. And I told Jen this too, and I think this resonates with people a lot. All right. I'm a nutrition person. I take vitamins. I take probiotics. I'm big on my health and nutrition. I don't think we get enough out of food. I think you can get it from food, but let's be real. We all don't cook the way you're supposed to cook or do the things you're supposed to do.
Right.
So this is my nutritional supplement. Do I make it a meal replacement? Sometimes, yes. Like tomorrow, I am going to put a half a cup of oats, like a tablespoon of flax. I do an extra scoop of protein, so I do like an isolate protein on top of the protein that's already in it, and it becomes a 375 or 400 calorie meal replacement. But 180 or 160 calories is not going to be a meal replacement for me. I don't preach that. So if someone does drink it plain though, and they just like it plain and they like to eat food, which I'm someone like that too. So I'll have that with, a small little thing, like, maybe like a small little meal.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's another way, that's another way that I really preach this to people, because they don't get it. A lot of people just don't get it. Like, especially my fitness bodybuilder guys, they're like, so is that your post-workout? And I'm like, sometimes,
Right.
I don't always use it. I try to get it in the morning because I think of it as a vitamin. So I try to get it in between the 7 and 10 range in the morning. But if it doesn't happen, then I have it post-workout. But I told, God, I'm drawing a blank on his name. Bob Lucido, Jen?
Yep.
Awesome at explaining it. I don't know if we have any recordings on him or if he has anything on YouTube.
I can ask him. I can message him.
But he explained it to me one night in a meeting in person, basically on how that philosophy came about, on how this stuff was geared, like what went into the ingredients in Shakeology, and the reason why it's so advanced, you know what I mean? And because of the amount of ingredients in it, the way they interact when they're together. So it's not necessarily that you read the ingredients list, and I hope you guys all know this too. You can't just read the ingredients list and go out to like GNC or Walgreens and buy all those supplements, or ingredients in a pill form or a powder form and make your own. You know what I mean? They have to be kind of interacting with certain things to get that result. You know what I mean? So the way that they formulated this is so that it all happens for you. And the way he explained it was, if your body needs to lose weight for health reasons, then it's going to lose weight, and this is going to help it. And if you lose enough weight, so where your body will hit like a homeostasis or some sort of happy medium, and you need to build muscle, it'll help you build muscle. It's really that creative, and your body is that creative. And I'm going through this with Ariel right now with her bodybuilding prep. Uploading in carbs and carbs up, carbs down. I mean, your body figures out how to deal with this stuff, and it adapts to it so you don't gain weight. So she's like up 300 carbs now, up 300 carbs a day, like from 100, and she hasn't gained a pound. You know, so all this stuff is all part of nutrient timing and stuff like that, and in pairing and stuff, like what you eat with what. I mean, just going and eating like quinoa because it's good isn't going to be as good as eating quinoa with the proteins. You know what I mean? Like it just, you got to kind of mix and match. So that's the other angle I'll take with the shake is it sets that kind of in motion, especially. So if you know that you're taking this in and something's a slow digesting, then, you know, an hour later, that yogurt's going to be a lot better paired with like the Shakeology you had an hour before. You know what I mean? But these are all things, like I said, I just know from common sense logic for me, but for someone that doesn't know much about it, this is what like Bob was explaining to me, because that just made sense to me. Like, again, I don't remember the exact words he was using, you know, but his story was that he had two Shakeology clients that were doctors. They were Asian descent, and they were doctors, and they basically were doing this nutrition business on the side and trying to get people on a diet, and basically had, I don't know, 80% of the ingredients that are in Shakeology were part of what they used to preach to people to go out and buy or prepare their foods with. And when they saw it all in Shakeology, they turned into Shakeology coaches and just started selling that, because it was like literally like, you know, he said what Americans think is like, you know, 1 + 1 = 2. And he said, in the way that the Asians think is 1 + 1 = like 40, you know, because this one plus that one creates this reaction, which creates that reaction. And there's just a constant turn of events that happens when you mix them together. So to be specific on that question, it's very, again, I know it sounds redundant, but it's specific to the person you're asking. If the person you're asking, Rachel, has a post-workout ritual, like where they take a whey isolate, you know, like I take Isopure after my workout. So, or a myofusion. You know, it really depends on who the person is. I mean, if they're just like female, like not trying to stay 210 pounds, you know what I mean? That would be a little bit different.
I'm that mother that I do my workout at 5:40, my first workout, and then I'm taking my kids to school with my shake in hand. And then then later on again, I do another workout. So I'm between workouts with the shake in hand. You know what I mean? And people are asking me, is that your breakfast or is that your, you know, after workout? And well, both really, because.
So what do you eat for breakfast?
Well, that I do the shake with banana, spinach, and sometimes I do put oats in it. So that tends to be my after workout. And
yeah, that's fine, and that works. That works, because you wouldn't be able to intake as much food as you needed to have a breakfast and an after workout anyway. Your body wouldn't know what to do with it. So
no, and then I work out again about an hour or two later.
You should space them, but that's just me.
So
and I know because of kids and schedule, it's hard.
People ask, because I live in like I live near a military base, so a lot of the mothers and the fathers are asking, and it's like a lot of the men obviously do a lot of physical activity. You see them running with the weight packs and stuff like that, and I don't think it would be a meal replacement. I don't think it'd be enough for them to be a meal replacement.
I would not preach it as one for them.
No.
So that's what I would say. This would be an unbelievable addition to what you're doing to help you with, like, you know, creating, again, put your own words on it, but creating like an environment for your body to be at its peak, right? So I'm sure they're taking multivitamins and doing everything else, but I'm guaranteeing you that multivitamin doesn't have half of what that has, because I take a multi too. So, I mean, all that extra stuff, all the exotics and the gojis and all that stuff, they're not in multivitamins. You know, the chlorella, the spirulina, they're not in multivitamins. I mean, all this stuff that you got to remember that all of those greens that we talk about, the superfoods, antioxidants, all that kind of stuff, creates the prime, you know, your body is primed for absorption. Okay, so when you're taking in all these nutrients, if you don't have a probiotic or anything that kind of helps and accept that, then you're not going to absorb half of it, you know, or 3/4 of it. You know, it's not going to not do anything. It's just like we all say. I mean, it doesn't get to good use. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I think Bob was great with that, though, Jen. I think he was really good with that angle of it. Because he was talking about the Summa route, and he was talking about the way it used to be in Shakeology, and then they took it out of Shakeology.
Yeah. All right, we got 1 minute left before we get cut off. So, anybody have any other quick questions?
Is it just the two of you and you?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Dana left. I don't know where she went, but and I don't know where Jill was, but yeah. So this was recorded.
Okay.
So hopefully, you know, if anybody else has any questions, they'll message Mike. But that was a ton of information, awesome information. So thank you.
You're welcome.
And,
like I said, there's a lot of information. I mean, it's really kind of picking what you feel like you really connect with and then using it.
Yeah.
I mean, you may connect with the post-workout nutrition part of it, right? Like that thing. And the other, I don't know. Is it Erica?
Erica.
Yeah. I mean, you got to find like what a lot of people are asking you. If you come across a common thread of, well, again, it could be cost, or it could be when, is it a morning? Is it a meal replacement? Pick something and then go with that.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
That's good.
All right. We're done. We're out of time.
All right.
All right.
Talk to you all tomorrow.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Talk to you later.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.